2 weeks ago tonight the bell sounded.
It did sound, but the problem is that they've taken out the equipment from underneath the bell and the floor since then, and there will be question marks, and there's going to be a row about this, and then they're now saying that they would need to put that back afterwards.
So it's a cost of £500,000.
And that means that the cost has gone up to £500,000 from £120,000.
And I mean, I'll put £1,000 in. No, I can't afford the whole thing, but I'll happily put £1,000 in if they will. If you were to go to people like Lord Bamford with JCB, yes. If you were to go to Tim Martin, who has Wetherspoons, this is and I say this with nothing but tribute to them. It's a round of drinks for those blokes, particularly for Tim. So they won't care. Isn't there something else afoot here, Theo?
So there is.
Something else afoot.
What you might be alluding to, Nick Ferrari, is that not enough is being given to celebrate our exit from the European Union, and that people just want Brexit to go away. And that is the criticism that you will hear today and tomorrow as the campaign to get Big Ben to bong for Brexit ramps up.
Right. Get a hold of, I know we don't normally, right, get a hold of Tim Martin. Well, this isn't you, I'm talking to my team now. Theo Usherwood reporting. You can now leave the studio, Theo. Thank you very much. Get a hold of Tim Martin, get a hold of Lord Bamford, get a hold of all those people. If I'll put in a few quid, I'm sure they'll put in a lot more. Why don't we put in commensurate with our bank balances? All right. So if I can put in £1,000, God only knows how much Lord Bamford could put in, and we'll make the bells chime. Let's see if we have any support. Now, we heard from Mark Francois in the story there, that or package as they call it in the broadcast industry, the story that Theo Usherwood just gave. He is a Conservative MP. He led the call for Big Ben to sound. Mark Francois, why is it so important to you? Good morning.
Good morning. Well, because, Nick, and thank you for having me on the show, under Article 50, we leave the European Union at a very specific time, which is 11 p.m. GMT on the night. So for those people that want to celebrate our leaving, and I appreciate that not everybody does, but after all these years, for those that do, they're going to want to look to a clock to mark the time accurately, just as you do when you celebrate New Year's Eve.
Yes.
And as you heard me say in the Commons, for those that do want to look to a clock, it seems just ludicrous to me and many of my colleagues that they're not allowed to look to Big Ben because it won't be made to chime, even though it chimes for New Year's Eve.
Well, 2 weeks ago, Mr. Francois. Why did we leave the bloody floor up that was there 2 weeks ago, for the love of God?
I couldn't agree with you more. And also, remember, absolutely appropriately, it chimes on Remembrance Sunday.
Absolutely.
And so it should.
Yes, indeed.
So what is the cost of both of those? I mean, the problem, I was a minister, and when civil servants don't want to do something, the first thing they do is they write a submission that says, we can't afford it.
Right.
I mean, unfortunately, I haven't had a complete readout on what happened at the Commission. I understand some of the politicians were sympathetic, but the House of Commons officials simply didn't want to do it, and they've come up with excuses. Now, your point about crowdfunding, sorry, just quickly, but it's important. I understand that Michael Ashcroft, the Eurosceptic billionaire, tweeted yesterday that he thought we should crowdfund it, and he offered to underwrite that exercise.
Right.
So you've already got the money, so the excuse of cost evaporates. So what's the next step? Basically, they just don't want to do it.
Is this like, and I appreciate for many of my listeners, they were too young to ever watch it, but is this effectively, lastly, Mr. Francois, the TV show Yes Minister, in all its unmuted glory here?
I think it's more like the thick of it, Nick.
Right.
And not everybody has to celebrate. If people don't want to, they can stay indoors and watch Netflix or whatever they like. But for those that do want to celebrate, they should be allowed to. And how can it be that the world's most famous clock stays silent? If necessary, just get the BBC to play a recording.
How dare you? We were doing all right until you said that.